Hey, what's up guys, WiseGuyVito here, and today I have an tier list video for you guys. This will be orbital strikes, or orbital barrages, or just orbital stratagems against the Terminid faction, which ones are really good and which ones are not so much at level 10 difficulty. As always, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. Let's get straight into the video. So before we start, let's go over the tiers real quick. S tier this is a really solid orbital against the Terminid faction on level 10s. This is kind of what I would perceive as like the meta pick right now. A tier it's above average. It does good. You know, there might be one kind of like glaring issue with it, or it might not perform as well as like the level or like the tier S's, I guess. But it's still really good at level 10 difficulties. B tier is average performance, kind of meh in my opinion, and we'll kind of go over which ones are those. C tier is below average. Definitely would like to see some buffs to these orbitals. And then D tier is that it's a really bad orbital for either the Terminids or it's just a bad orbital overall, and would like to see some reworks or buffs to it in the future. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the EMS orbital, to me, it feels very average in my opinion. It's not bad per se. Has a little cooldown. It's basically like a big stun grenade for the most part. But other than that, I can just bring an EMS mortar and it does the exact same thing. And it's consistent, so I'd rather just bring an EMS mortar. I understand that this has a lower cooldown to it. I understand that. But for me personally, if this stunned, like let's say like a group of Bile Titans, which I think it should in my opinion, if that was like the one buff that I would like to this, it would be probably like an A tier. At the very least, an A tier orbital, but for the time being, I'm definitely going to put it in B tier because it kind of feels meh. It feels average because it does stop groups like patrols and stuff like that, and it does stop chargers, and it is a somewhat good area of denial because you basically just stun everything from just charging at you. But I would like it to see it stun Bile Titans in my opinion, and impalers, and I think it'd be up here in the A and S tier region. The napalm orbital is probably the best one against the Terminids currently. Super S tier in my opinion. If there was an S plus, I'd put it there. If a bug breach happens, throw this, get 80 kills. You know, you basically just deny the entire bug breach from happening, and that's why it's really, really good. So that's why I'm putting it in S tier. The 120 barrage, it's not bad. I do think that is A tier though. I don't think that is the best barrage for the Terminids in the game. It feels okay. It's really more for like the smaller nest in my opinion. But if you are going to use any barrage to destroy bug nests and even to a degree of area of denial, I would say the 380. I think the 380 is way better than the 120s. Some people prefer the 120s. I prefer the 380s because I like the more impact that it has. That's why I'm putting the 380 in S tier, is because it covers more of a wider range in my opinion. You know, if you want a more concentrated area, then you would go for the 120s. In my opinion, though, you know, me throwing this in the middle of like a larger bug nest, or you know, like bug hole nest or whatever, I feel like it's better in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of the 120 versus the 380 and which one you guys uses. You know, my personal experience is that the 380 is better, but I like to hear what your guys' opinions on it are. The orbital Airburst, I do think it's A tier. I feel like it needs just like a little bit more damage in my opinion. I think it's good. Like, don't get me wrong. I think you can definitely run this with a low cooldown build. Actually, I do run this often with a low cooldown build. That and the Gatling barrage orbital. But I mean, like, it's good. It is a very good orbital. I just wish it had just like a little bit more damage to it, and then I think it'd be like an S tier one. The gas orbital strike orbital, I do think it is a contender of being the best orbital in the entire game right now, just simply because it's basically like the EMS, but it does damage over time, and the things just kind of flail around, and enemies kind of hit each other and shoot each other. This is good against all factions in my opinion. Every single faction in the game. the gas orbital strike is probably going to be S tier. It's just like that's how it is. I see no downsides with bringing this. Has a low cooldown, has a large area of effect that it hits. It's just an overall just a fantastic. This might be better than the napalm barrage, but in my opinion, I do like how the napalm barrage is just more of like an area of denial. But I'm definitely going to put this in S tier. It's probably the best orbital in the game currently right now against all three factions. But against Terminids, it's still an S tier. It's still very, very good. The Gatling barrage, I do think it's A tier. It feels really good for just area denial again. It's kind of like the orbital Airburst in my opinion. The one thing that I will say is that I wish it was a little bit more concentrated than what it is currently. Right now, how it works is that it kind of goes in like a little circle. I kind of wish that the barrage did not go into a circle. I kind of wish it kind of stayed in one spot where where I threw it, because at that point it would be like a viable option for bug breaches. So a bug breach happens, you just throw that immediately on it, and you get like tons of kills. You can still get quite a few kills, but the way that it worked like months ago, by the way, was that whenever you threw it, it would start shooting around, like where you threw it at. Instead of going in a circle, it would just start shooting where you threw it at, which in my opinion was better than what it is right now. So if they were to change it at all, I'd rather have still keep the salvo or like the length of it, just make it more pinpoint, and it'd be an S tier one. The orbital laser, I do think, to me, I feel like it's more like a bot stratagem. It's not bad. I just feel like it just needs unlimited uses, in my opinion. If it has unlimited uses, it would be at the very least an A tier one. But for the time being, for me anyways, I kind of feel like it's lacklustering just a bit. If it hones in on a Bile Titan or a Charger or an Impaler, especially on Bile Titans, it does not feel good, because it's no longer going after, it's no longer CCing. It's no longer crowd controlling. What it's doing is that it's DPS big boss target, right? Which is a Bile Titan or like a Charger or like an Impaler. So in that regard, if it ever does that, it feels really bad. Plus the limited amount of uses, you kind of feel like you waste it if there's like a whole bunch of Bile Titans at once. That's why I'm putting it in B tier. It's not terrible. It's not like C tier, D tier, but it's also not great either. It's not like A or S, in my opinion. To me, it has very average performance. The orbital railgun, for many, many months, I put this in like A to S tier, because I see the value in wiping something off the map. But as time goes on, this thing has fallen significantly, in my opinion. And I'm going to actually put it in C tier. I don't think that it's garbage. I don't think that's like dookie tier or like horrible tier or anything like that. But what this needs is the ability to either have a very low cooldown to it, or whenever you throw it, it maybe splits off into up to, not just one, but up to 3 different lasers. And it can, like let's say if you have 2 charges and a Bile Titan coming at you, or if you're at the Bile Titan hole now and there's 3 or 4 Bile Titans, you throw this down, it'll wipe out like 2 or 3 of them, right? In one go. Give it maybe like a longer cooldown to it, and I think it'd be fine. I mean, like I think the current cooldown is fine, even if that were the case. But I think that would be kind of cool. But I do think that this orbital definitely needs to see some love, because I do think it's one of the more satisfying ones to hit. Another thing as well is that the laser, it can be inconsistent at times. So you will throw the stratagem at a Bile Titan or a Charger, and it will go after like a commander or like a little small bug or a warrior, and not after the thing that you're trying to wipe out, to kind of relieve some of the pressure, right? And so that you can work on like the mob. So I still kind of use it from time to time, I'm not gonna lie, because I do like the value of wiping something off the map that was giving me some trouble, right? It can one-shot Bile Titans, it can one-shot Chargers, and I believe it can one-shot Impalers. I want to say it does a one-shot Impalers as well. It's a phenomenal stratagem for killing things, right? But it only kills one thing, just one target, and that's it, right? I see the value in that, but at the same time, I do agree that it needs something, because it has fallen off tremendously. Smoke Orbital. Don't think this is great at all. I'm not really a big fan of smoke in this game, period. I'd rather just, if I'm going to bring something that's area of denial, I'm just going to bring gas or Airburst or anything else, in my opinion, right? I still feel like stealth is not where it should be in this game, in my opinion. You know, I know there's stealth, you know, like stealth armor and stuff like that. There is others, you know, like there's smoke grenades and such. There's probably some secret tech out there. In my opinion, the secret tech to smoke is just not worth it whenever you can just bring something that just does raw damage and destruction. You know, why sneak around and kill the thing whenever you can just, why sneak around the thing that you're trying not to spook that will kill you at some point whenever you can just kill it outright. So that's why I'm putting smokes into D tier. And plus, I don't feel like smokes are really a Terminid thing. I feel like it's more like a bot or an Illuminate thing. More or less a bot thing than Illuminate. But for bots, I think smokes are kind of all right. I would put them as kind of average. But for Terminids, though, it's really not that great to use. The precision strikes, or like the precision orbital strike, I do feel like this has fallen off, in my opinion. I will have this thing land on a Bile Titan, and it just doesn't kill it. And that feels really, really bad. I remember this thing hitting underneath Bile Titans and killing them, and it no longer does that now. And I don't know if that's just me not using this thing in a bit, and I'm just rusty with it, or if there's been some changes been happening to it. But I've been using it recently, and I've noticed that it doesn't feel as good as what it used to be. I just wish that just give it more damage. I think that's all that it needs, and then it would be an A tier, like low cooldown, one use type of, you know, stratagem. And the walking barrage I think is fine, but to me though it does feel like more like an average orbital. It just depends on where you're at, what kind of bug, or like what kind of bug nest you're like going up against. Mega Nest, I'd probably say it's probably like an A tier at that point. But overall, though, like you're going to be wanting to bring like a 120. I'd rather bring a 120 over the orbital walking barrage. I feel like the orbital walking barrage is more of like a bot one, bot or Illuminate, because of like the structures and stuff like that. And you know, but for Terminids though, I'd rather just use like a 120 or a 380 if I'm going to, you know, destroy swaths of like bug holes and stuff like that and bug structures. So this is my tier list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below about what you think about my tier list. Tell me where I'm right. Tell me where I'm wrong. Would love to see your guys' opinions in the comment section. And I do read through them, and you know, I'll kind of give my opinion and stuff like that. You, of course, give your opinion. And you guys let me know what you think about orbitals right now in Helldivers 2, just overall or just against other factions. I would really like to hear what you guys have to think. So, as always, like, share, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.